right, thank you for your patience as we made another little quick change. First of all, the group you see behind me is the Wind Symphony, and they've been working hard preparing a program for you this evening. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, we took all 4 of our high school groups down to Ohio University, and we performed down there, and we had a clinic with their director of bands, Dr. Tolly, and just had a wonderful experience. So we're going to open with one of the pieces we did down there. It's called Synergy Rising. We hope you enjoy it. All right, thank you. Before we play our second piece, first a few thank yous. I do want to make sure I say this. We're so fortunate here in Hilliard to have an administration who supports what we do as teachers and what these students do every day, from Tharp to Weaver to Davidson and all the way up to central office with our wonderful superintendent. We're just very grateful that they not only say that they support us, but we see that in their actions and their deeds, which is the most important thing. So help me thank all our wonderful administration, if you would, please. I also want to thank all the wonderful students that you've seen on stage and the ones that are in our program that you don't see on stage tonight. We see this every day as educators, and it gets to be more and more true every year. There are lots of choices for young people these days. They can make decisions about how they want to spend their time. And the fact that they've chosen to spend their time making music is I think, one of the best things they can do. And it makes us as educators just feel wonderful to know that they value this and they continue to do this. One of the things you might notice, there are some folks on stage in rather interesting band uniforms. And we love that. Okay, we have a lot of athletes in our program, again, from 6th grade all the way through the high school. We have a wonderful relationship with our athletic department, and we're grateful, again, that we have well-rounded students. So just out of curiosity, if you're an athlete in any of the 3 schools at any time during the year, will you stand up if you're an athlete at some point? Yes. Wonderful. And I truly believe that them being athletes makes them better musicians, and I truly believe that them being musicians will make them better athletes. A lot of those skills cross over, so I love to see that. So we appreciate that, and I know that that's sometimes hard, and you're balancing schedules, and parents, I know that too. When we took our trip down to OU a little bit ago, a lot of parents had to kind of work out some schedules, but I appreciate you making it a priority. Before we play our final piece, I do have a little disclaimer about it, and then we'll get everybody up for Stars and Stripes. This next piece is probably unlike anything you'll ever see or have ever seen. I say it's a song, but that's a little interesting version of a title. I do want to warn you, actually, there's going to be flashing lights. Most of the song is in the darkness. There's going to be some interesting sounds you won't be able to see, but instruments are being taken apart and creating sounds in new and unique ways. Some of what you're hearing is improvised. There are points where some musicians will be moving out into the audience. So it's very different. It's more a theatrical performance than it is a song, per se. But I think you'll really enjoy it. The students have had a lot of fun working on it. Because it's in the dark, they've had to memorize it, and they've had the piece about 2 weeks. So it's been a fun little adventure. And really, this week, yesterday and today, was the first time we really got to do it in the dark, because in the band room, there's a big skylight, so even when the lights are off, it really doesn't work. So they've done a really nice job. But as I say, I do want to let you know that there is some unique things going to happen, and so if you're worried that might, if you've got a real little one and you're worried about that freaking them out when the lights go off or whatever, or strobe lights or anything like that, I will give you a chance to step out, and I won't be offended. Great. Why is my wife leaving? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So, but Honestly, whenever we do the concert, I'm like, what would be a cool song that's going to make 6th, 7th, and 8th graders want to stay in band? And I was like, if this one doesn't do it, I don't know. I got nothing else left. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So we hope you enjoy VooDoo. After VooDoo, there'll be just a slight pause. We'll get the rest of our wonderful musicians up and close with Stars and Stripes. All right. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we enjoyed putting that together. Thank you. If you liked it, come back for our spring concert. We'll be doing that again in May, along with some more traditional pieces. So if you'll give us just about 3 or 4 minutes, we're going to get some folks up here, get some things adjusted, and we will finish up.